Do you ever find yourself wondering about what really happens, as we get older, especially as we approach those later years, say after 75? It's something most of us think about. Maybe late at night, maybe when we hear news about someone we knew. It's natural to feel a little uncertain, perhaps even a bit afraid, about what the very end of life might look and feel like. Society doesn't always talk about it openly, does it? We see it in movies sometimes, but that's often dramatic and not quite real. This lack of open conversation, this quiet avoidance, can sometimes leave us feeling unprepared, fostering worries that might not actually match the reality. But what if there were things, important truths, that aren't often spoken aloud, that could change how you feel about this stage of life? What if understanding these things could lift a burden you didn't even realize you were carrying and bring you a sense of peace about the future? In this video, we're going to gently explore 5 hidden truths about the end of life after 75, insights that aren't meant to cause worry, but rather to empower you and bring clarity. These aren't secrets to be feared, but understandings that can help you navigate the path ahead with more confidence and less anxiety. We'll look at aspects that touch on everything from the physical reality to the emotional and relational parts of this final chapter. Stay with me until the very end, because there's something I'll share that might truly surprise you about this time of life. Let's ease into the first of these hidden truths. It's something that often gets misrepresented, isn't it? We've grown up with images, whether from books, movies, or just hushed conversations, that paint a picture of the very end of life as a difficult, perhaps even painful, struggle. We imagine battles fought against illness, against time, and while certainly there can be challenges, one of the most significant hidden truths about the end of life after 75 for many, perhaps most, people, is this: it's often not a sudden, agonizing battle you lose. Sometimes, and frequently, it's a more gradual process, a gentle winding down, a journey towards peace and comfort. Think about it. When we're younger, sudden illnesses or accidents might bring an abrupt end. But as the body ages, systems naturally begin to slow down. This isn't a failure. It's simply the natural progression of life. For many seniors, particularly after 75, the end comes not from a single, overwhelming catastrophic event, but from a gradual decline in overall health. Organs become less efficient, the body becomes frailer, and eventually, it reaches a point where it can no longer sustain life. This process can take time, sometimes months, sometimes even longer, and during this time, the focus of care often shifts. It moves away from trying to aggressively cure or fight a disease that the body is no longer equipped to handle, and towards ensuring comfort, dignity, and peace. This shift in focus is key to understanding this first truth. Modern medicine, while capable of incredible interventions, also understands the importance of quality of life. Palliative care, which we'll discuss more later, is specifically designed for this, to provide relief from the symptoms and stress of a serious illness. It aims to improve quality of life for both the patient and the family. So, instead of intense treatments that might cause discomfort or distress, the priority becomes managing pain, easing breathing difficulties, ensuring the person feels calm and supported. This means that for many, the final days or weeks are not filled with struggle, but with periods of sleepiness, quietness, and a gradual withdrawal from the world. Pain can often be managed effectively, and discomfort can be minimized. The dramatic, painful endings we sometimes fear are far from universal reality. This truth is hidden because we don't talk about the possibility of a peaceful, natural end. We are often primed to expect the worst, when a gentler path is often the more common one for older adults. Understanding this can be incredibly freeing, taking away some of the sharpest edges of fear associated with the unknown future. It allows us to imagine a different possibility, one where the focus is on comfort and being present. Rather than fighting a losing war, it's about accepting the natural cycle and finding grace within it. Now, this brings us smoothly to the second hidden truth, which ties directly into the first. If the end is often a process rather than an event, then understanding and influencing that process becomes incredibly important. And the second hidden truth is this: the biggest fear isn't usually the dying itself, but the how. The fear of losing control, of being a burden, of pain, or of being kept alive against your wishes. And the hidden part: you actually have more control over the how than you might think. And planning for it is an act of profound self-respect and love for your family. Many people avoid thinking about advanced care planning because it feels morbid or like giving up. But the reality is quite the opposite. It's about taking control, making your voice heard, and ensuring that your values and wishes guide your care if you're unable to speak for yourself. Imagine a situation where you have a sudden health crisis and your loved ones are faced with making difficult decisions about your medical treatment under immense stress. They might be guessing what you would want, or they might disagree among themselves. This is a painful reality that advanced planning can largely prevent. What does this planning involve? It's simpler than it sounds, but it requires thought and conversation. It typically includes two main components in many English-speaking countries: appointing a healthcare power of attorney and creating a living, will sometimes called an advance directive. A healthcare power of attorney is simply choosing a person you trust absolutely, a spouse, a child, a close friend, to make medical decisions for you if you become unable to make them yourself. This person should understand your values, your wishes regarding medical treatment, and your quality of life priorities. It's not just about signing a form. It's about having deep, honest conversations with this person about what matters most to you. Would you want every possible medical intervention, no matter the potential outcome or your quality of life during treatment? Or would you prioritize comfort and natural dying if the chance of recovery is very low or the treatment is very burdensome? A living will is a document where you can write down your wishes regarding specific medical treatments, particularly end-of-life care. This might include your preferences about resuscitation CPR, mechanical ventilation, artificial hydration and nutrition, and other life-sustaining treatments. It allows you to state clearly what you would want or not want in certain medical situations. For example, you might state that if you are in a persistent vegetative state or have a terminal condition with no hope of recovery, you would not want artificial life support to prolong the dying process. The hidden aspect here is the immense sense of peace and control this planning provides, not just for you, but for your loved ones. When your wishes are clearly documented and discussed with your chosen healthcare power of attorney, the burden of making agonizing decisions is lifted from your family. They won't have to guess. They will be carrying out your stated desires. This allows them to focus on being present with you, rather than being consumed by difficult choices. Thinking about and completing these documents might seem daunting, but it's a process that can be approached gradually. You can start by thinking about your values. What does a good quality of life mean to you? What level of independence is essential? Are there medical treatments you absolutely would or would not want then? Have conversations with your loved ones. Talk about your thoughts, your fears, and your hopes. Choose your healthcare power of attorney carefully and have a detailed discussion with them. Finally, document your wishes in a formal living will, usually with the help of simple forms available online, from healthcare providers, or with legal assistance if you prefer. This doesn't require expensive lawyers unless your situation is complex. Many resources provide standard forms. This isn't just about filling out papers. It's about empowering yourself and protecting your family from distress. It's about ensuring that your journey towards the end, when it comes, reflects your values and priorities. It's about replacing the fear of the unknown how with the quiet confidence that you have planned for it, and that your voice will still be heard. This is a powerful truth that remains hidden for too many, often uncovered only in times of crisis. Being proactive unlocks this peace far sooner. Now that we've considered the nature of the end and the power of planning your medical wishes, let's turn our attention to something just as, if not more, fundamental to our well-being as we age: our connections with others. Moving on. The third hidden truth is perhaps the most heartwarming, and yet, it's something we can sometimes overlook or even take for granted in our busy lives. It is this: your relationships matter more in the final chapters than they ever did before. As we age, our focus often naturally shifts away from the external, career achievements, accumulating possessions, and towards the internal and the relational. The quality of our connections with family, friends, and community becomes increasingly central to our happiness, our sense of security, and yes, even our experience of the end of life. Why is this a hidden truth? Because in our independent Western cultures, there's often an emphasis on self-reliance, even isolation. As we get older, we don't want to be a burden, so we might pull back. Adult children have their own lives, and we don't want to intrude. Friends move away or pass on. The world sometimes seems designed for the young and busy. This can lead to a painful reality of loneliness and isolation for many seniors. However, counterintuitively, as life potentially becomes simpler physically, the emotional and spiritual needs for connection often deepen. Having meaningful relationships in your later years provides comfort, reduces anxiety, and offers a sense of belonging. It's having someone to talk to share a cup of tea with, to reminisce with. It's having someone who truly sees you and cares. This isn't just about having people around. It's about the quality of the connection. Are these relationships built on mutual respect, love, and genuine care? As we approach the end of life, these relationships become pillars of support. Loved ones provide emotional comfort, help with practical tasks, and ensure that your wishes regarding care are known and respected. Being surrounded by people who love you can alleviate fears and provide a sense of peace. Sharing memories, saying thank you, expressing love, and even saying goodbyes are incredibly important parts of this final stage. These conversations, sometimes difficult but always meaningful, allow for emotional closure and strengthen the bonds of love right until the end. Furthermore, relationships are where much of our legacy resides. Our impact on the world is most profoundly felt through the people we have loved and who have loved us in return. Focusing on nurturing these relationships in your 70s, 80s, and beyond is not a luxury. It is essential work for your emotional and spiritual well-being. This might mean actively reaching out to family members, even if it's just a phone call or a video chat. It might mean making an effort to connect with friends, joining social groups, or participating in community activities. It might also mean mending relationships that have become strained, if possible and healthy to do so. Letting go of old grudges and fostering forgiveness, both of yourself and others, can bring immense peace in later life. It's about ensuring that the people who matter most know how you feel about them, and that you feel their love in return. This focus on connection is a hidden truth because we are often told to be independent, when in reality, interdependence and loving relationships are what truly sustain us and bring meaning, especially as we face life's end. It's the shared moments, the laughter, the quiet presence, and the knowledge that you are loved that provides the deepest comfort. This focus on comfort and support leads us to the fourth hidden truth. There are systems and people specifically designed to help you transition comfortably and with dignity. But you need to know about them and how to access them. This truth is hidden because these services are often misunderstood, underutilized, or only introduced late in the process. We briefly mentioned palliative care earlier when discussing the shift in focus from cure to comfort. Let's delve a little deeper. Palliative care is specialized medical care for people living with a serious illness. It focuses on providing relief from the symptoms and stress of the illness. The goal is to improve quality of life for both the patient and the family. Importantly, palliative care can be provided at any stage of a serious illness. not just at the very end of life. You can receive palliative care while also receiving curative treatments. It's about managing symptoms like pain, nausea, shortness of breath, fatigue, and difficulty sleeping, which can significantly impact your quality of life. A palliative care team might include doctors, nurses, social workers, and other specialists who work together with your other doctors to provide an extra layer of support. Hospice care, on the other hand, is a specific type of palliative care for people who are nearing the end of life. Typically, when a doctor has determined that they have 6 months or less to live if the illness runs its natural course, the focus of hospice care is entirely on comfort and quality of life. Rather than seeking a cure, hospice is not about giving up. It is about choosing to live the remaining time as fully and comfortably as possible, surrounded by loved ones. In a peaceful environment, hospice teams are multidisciplinary and provide comprehensive support. They manage pain and symptoms, provide emotional and spiritual support, and offer guidance and support to family caregivers. Hospice care is often provided in the person's home, allowing them to be in a familiar and comforting setting. It can also be provided in hospice centers, hospitals, or nursing homes. A key component of hospice is also supporting the family, both during the illness and through bereavement support afterwards. The hidden truth here is that these services are available. They are incredibly beneficial, and they can transform the end-of-life experience, making it much more comfortable and peaceful for everyone involved. Yet, too often, families learn about hospice or palliative care very late, sometimes only in the final days or weeks. This means the individual and their family miss out on months of potential support, comfort, and improved quality of life. Knowing about these services allows you to advocate for yourself or your loved ones. It empowers you to ask your doctor about palliative care options when dealing with a serious illness. Regardless of prognosis, it enables you to understand that hospice is not a place you go to die, but a service that comes to you or is provided where you live to help you live your final months with dignity, comfort, and support. Discussing palliative and hospice care with your doctor and your family is a crucial step in ensuring that your end-of-life journey is as peaceful and comfortable as possible. It's about accessing the resources that are there to help, and not being afraid to ask for the support you need and deserve. This understanding replaces the fear of uncontrolled suffering with the knowledge that there are skilled and compassionate people ready to help manage symptoms and support both you and your family through this natural process. Now, we come to the fifth and final hidden truth, one that brings together many of the threads we've discussed and perhaps contains that surprising element I mentioned at the beginning. This truth is profound and counterintuitive to the often negative way we perceive the end of life. The hidden truth is this: the ending can be a time of unexpected growth, reflection, and finding profound peace and meaning, not just a period of decline. When we think about the end of life, the immediate association is often loss of health, independence, loved ones. And while these are real challenges, focusing only on the loss overlooks the unique opportunities this stage presents. As the physical body slows down, the internal world can become richer, with the pressures of work, raising a family, and daily striving often behind you. There can be space for deep reflection. This is a time to look back on your life with perspective, to appreciate the joys, learn from the difficulties, and perhaps see the overarching narrative of your journey. It's a time when small things can take on immense beauty: the warmth of the sun, the sound of birds, the touch of a loved one's hand. These simple pleasures can become sources of profound contentment. This stage also offers a unique opportunity for resolution and finding meaning. It might involve resolving old regrets or conflicts, perhaps by reaching out to someone or simply coming to terms with past events internally. It's a time to focus on what truly matters: love, connection, forgiveness, and finding peace within yourself. For many, this involves a deepening of spiritual beliefs or a connection to something larger than themselves. which can provide immense comfort and a sense of continuity. Your legacy isn't just about what you leave behind in terms of possessions or accomplishments. It's about the impact you've had on the lives of others, the values you've instilled, the love you've shared. Reflecting on this can bring a deep sense of fulfillment. Writing down memories, sharing stories with grandchildren, creating a simple ethical will, a document sharing your values and hopes for your loved ones, can be incredibly meaningful activities during this time. And here's the surprising part. For many who navigate this stage with support, open communication, and a focus on comfort and connection, the end of life isn't just about decline. It can be a time of unexpected intimacy with loved ones, a time of profound personal and spiritual growth, and a time of finding a deep and abiding peace. It's a period where, paradoxically, facing the reality of dying can free you to live more fully in the present moment, appreciating the simple beauty and love that surround you. The fear that comes from avoiding the topic can be replaced by the quiet strength that comes from facing it, understanding it, and approaching it not just as an end, but as the final, meaningful chapter of a rich life. This hidden truth is that the end can be a time of grace, connection, and peace, if we are willing to explore it, plan for it, and embrace the support available to us. So, we've journeyed through these 5 hidden truths that the end is often a gradual journey towards comfort, not a painful battle, that you have significant control over the how through planning, that your relationships become even more vital, that dedicated support systems like palliative care and hospice are available to ensure comfort and dignity, and finally, that this stage can be a time of unexpected peace, growth, and finding deep meaning. None of this is meant to be scary. Quite the opposite. Understanding these realities is about taking away the fear of the unknown and replacing it with knowledge, preparation, and a focus on what truly matters: comfort, connection, and peace. It's about empowering you to approach the future, whatever it holds, with less anxiety and more confidence. Remember, gentle planning isn't about hastening the end. It's about ensuring that when the time comes, it aligns with your wishes and values, allowing you to live your final chapter with dignity and surrounded by love. Focusing on your relationships now, nurturing those connections, will bring you immense comfort and support. And knowing about the services available means you can access the care that prioritizes your comfort and quality of life. Thinking about these things, talking about them with your loved ones and your doctor, isn't easy, but it is an act of courage and love. It allows you to release the fear of the unknown and step into the future with a sense of preparedness and peace. You have lived a full life, or are continuing to do so. And this final stage deserves to be approached with the same thoughtfulness and care you've applied to other important aspects of your life. We've covered quite a bit, and my sincere hope is that hearing these perspectives has brought you a sense of understanding and maybe even a little bit of peace. It's okay to feel whatever you feel about these topics. What's important is gently opening the door to these conversations. I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you encountered any of these truths in your own life or with loved ones? What are your biggest questions or thoughts about this stage of life? Please share your reflections in the comments below. Your experiences and perspectives are valuable and can help others in this community. If you found this video helpful or thought-provoking, please give it a like. It helps this kind of important information reach more people who might benefit from it. And if you're interested in more content that explores aging with grace, understanding, and empowerment, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you for spending this time with me, for being open to exploring this important and often avoided topic. My wish for you is that you feel empowered, connected, and at peace as you continue your journey. Live your best life, fully and authentically, at every age.